Welcome to Weld.com. Got a quick tip for you today on working with some square tubing. This is an 1/8 inch wall. It's leftover material that we did some heavy shelving on in one of the classrooms, but it applies to thin wall tubing as well. I went ahead and cut a very slight bevel in this because I want to show you fit, weld, and finish, and it's really pretty simple, and I think this will make sense. I have a pretty good saw back here that we cut a lot of miters, okay? It keeps us from cutting caps and sealing things off. So when I fit up square tubing, let's say that I'm building a frame, rectangular rack, whatever it is, and I want these square corners, I'm fitting this up, and I'll probably do a quick measure with a tape, but I don't really care if it's square yet, okay? The first thing that I want to do here with these two pieces, I have a whisper, a gap here. 1/16 filler wire will not fall through here. It will over here in the corner, but it won't out here on the point, so it's like a 30-second of gap. The very first tack that I want to put in here, I think we've all done this. You tack with TIG or even MIG, and man, all of a sudden your stuff just moves everywhere. So strategically, you need to put the tacks in the right place. I tend to put mine right up here on very top. And the reason I do that is because now I can fit and open and close this and get this exactly square. It really doesn't do anything to the rest of this if I have a good cut. So let me get my hood on, I'll be right back. First tack I'm going to put right in the middle of this. The second thing I want to do is go ahead and square it up. I want to put two more quick tacks on here so that I don't lose my square, and then I'll put a tack out here on the back side. Two more tacks right here in the corner, and probably one out here on the very end. Now, the way I prepared this and the way we have it fit up, I want to finish these welds. There's a lot of times when I'm building stuff, I don't weld it all the way out. You know, if something's going to go on top of this, plywood for shelving or another sheet or decking plate or something, there's a lot of times I'll just weld the inside fillet and the outside and finish this, and maybe we have a heavy angle upright. It doesn't need to be welded. The fillet weld catches, everything is strong, so there's kind of some ways to think through this. Anyway, I wanted to demonstrate going through the sequence of welds and then finishing it off like this is going to be shown for a frame or something like that. Even this outside corner over here, which I'll probably have to weld it away from the camera guy, I don't know. We'll get along in a second. So the first weld I want to make, I'm tacked both sides. I didn't do anything in the corner back here. I'm going to check this one more time for square, and I'm good and square. Right on the money, actually. I don't think it's going to move any when I do these welds. And then I'll go back and use the flat sander, and we'll blend all this in, and it should be quality. A lot of times on projects, like on shelving or stuff that we're doing one frame to start out with, and we've got, let's say that we've got 5 or 6 frames that are going up in a big rack. Build your first one. Make sure it is really, really square. Tack you some tabs on here and sister all your other parts right on top of it. You build one jig or one of them as a jig, and then you can fly through the rest of these parts. So let's start our weld sequence here. 1/16 wire. If you caught that on camera, you'll notice I start the arc, and go down around the corner. I always like to wrap corners. Do not like to see holes in welds. This particular weld has a void in it, and I'm going to go over the top of it again. Actually, it kind of sunk in. I wasn't using enough filler wire. Since I said we were going to finish this, I need to bring this weld metal just up above the parent metal so that we can flat sand it. Won't take long. Inside fillet. And if you caught that on camera, I did the same thing. I started the arc, moved it back around that corner. One last weld. It's a nice thing about using a foot pedal. I was real low on the amperage because it doesn't take a lot of heat on that particular weld. Dab that in there going uphill. I've got a little bit of a profile to it, but I'm not doing a tremendous amount of sanding. I'm gonna let this cool off for just a little bit, and I'm gonna go do some flapper wheel work, and it won't take me very long, so I'll be right back. Okay, we're done. Didn't take long to clean this up. I left the square up here. I'm looking at a whisper of light all the way up because of the fillet weld in here. I could come in and sand the corner of my tool off, but I don't really want to do that. I could probably cut this one off. It's a cheap one, store-bought. I do not trust squares for being square. I've seen people, they'll fit up and they'll be tacking right next to these and get them all hot and they're nowhere near it. But I could probably come in here and that's the same light going up through there, so I'm real confident that we're square. And then we've got finished product here. We're straight, we're square. We rounded the edges with the same as the tubing that has rounded edges. I could probably do some more finish work. That's kind of hard to hit sometimes, especially in the corners. So, you know, the whole point is getting fit up, square, and then finishing the work. I tend to do a lot of flat sanding. I've watched people, they'll build some decent projects and you walk by them after they're painted and they've like destroyed it with the grinder. I mean, they have just cut into it. They're in a hurry to cut their weld off. Now, if you want to make something good and nice finish of it and everything, this would primer nicely and it would paint nicely and it wouldn't show a bunch of gouges. So learn to flat sand, learn to use your abrasives correctly. And I hope this helps. It's more of the project thing, square tubing, framing stuff up, pipe, tubing, cutting miters. It's real simple to fit stuff up. So I hope this helps out in your project work. If we can help you in any way, contact us at Weld.com. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the videos.